return to your scheduled programming shortly, or we are currently experiencing technical difficulties.
What is going on YouTube? Michael J. Crawford, the Anti-Checker here, and good Sunday morning to all of you. Azine is first in the house saying, hey, Thomas Potts missing in action. Hope that he's doing well this morning, though. Schromer says greetings. Robert Smith says hello. Death Dealer's in the house says hi. How you doing? Brian Gibson says, first like, oh my God, ha ha ha. Brian, I think you... have you been like partying all night or something? I'm worried about you, man. Schromer says, greetings, anti-checker fellow nerds. Good to see you, Schromer. Richie Poole is in the house, says hello. BIRDOPREY, yeah, he's here. Schromer says, greetings to Mrs. Anti-Checker, Scourge of the Moles. And for those of you that that just proves that Schromer likes to pay attention, yes, Mrs. Anti-Checker is the hated enemy of the moles. Oh, and by the way, Mrs. Anti-Checker got this coffee cup for me. And Captain MKG says, saw it in my subscriptions this time. Good morning, all. Hey, Captain. Brian Gibson says, good morning, nerds. I'm awake at an ungodly hour, trying to get shifted from my normal East Coast time to this California time. Ugh. I will tell you, Brian, yes, I grew up in California, lived in Portland, Oregon for many years, and only for the last few years have I lived in the central time zone. In fact, this is the first time in my life that I've lived out anywhere other than the Pacific time zone. And yeah, I kind of like it better on this side of the old time zones. I don't know why, but yeah. Not Ryan Johnson is here, says hello. How you doing, Not Ryan Johnson? Brian says, MKGM mute too. Oh, that you saw it in your subscriptions? Awesome. Well, yeah, I don't know what it was with the other day that nobody was getting a notification, and it was obvious because we couldn't get anybody to see the show. Shomer says, in greetings, Auntie, Sniffer of Bottoms, Occasional Barker, Stalker of Treats, Sleeper Extraordinaire, and Puppet Mistress of Turdistan. And as you can see, Auntie is as diligent as always. And BIRDOPREY says that coffee cup is utterly ridiculous. Wow. Just wow. Oh, by the way, Bird, let me say this. Thank you for that voiceover work. I know you sent it to me a few days ago, but thank you for that voiceover work. Joshua is working on a super chat animation that is going to feature the voice work of BIRDOPREY and Lore Reloaded in one epic super chat. That's right, BIRDOPREY and Lore Reloaded. So, why the name of this live stream, Joy versus Happiness? The honest truth is, last night when we were at church, this was actually something that, while our pastor touched on in the book of the Bible that we're covering right now and some of the points of his message last night, and if Corey ever sees this, hey, obviously I still think you're an awesome pastor. I just think you missed out on this because I think this is something that really needs to be driven home as to what is the ultimate benefit, if you will, while you are on this earth of being a Christian. And it is, in a very real sense, this joy versus happiness thing is right at the core of that. The idea, and I'll tell you, here's one of the biggest lies sold to people as far as a piece of wisdom, but it's an absolute lie. Money can't buy happiness. You're sitting there going, but anti-checker, money doesn't buy happiness. What are you talking about? No, look at all these rich people that are miserable all the time. Very true. However, and I'm not sure what Mr. Captain was talking about there, but okay. And Sherman says, BIRDOPREY, you better not have gotten naked for that super chat. Hooker lore is bad enough. No, I promise you, BIRDOPREY will not be naked, nor will Lore Reloaded in that one. Maybe in a future one. But money absolutely can buy happiness. But keep in mind, happiness is an emotional state, a pleasant emotional state that is brought on about by positive scenarios, positive situations that you find yourself in. Now, that positive situation could be, oh, I'm so excited I bought a new phone. That positive situation could be doing fun things. That positive situation can be all sorts of stuff. But having money allows you to control your situations. If you are a ridiculously wealthy individual, then you can literally do anything you want to do and only have to do what you want to do. And so if you focus on how you spend your money and you focus on doing it in simply ways that you will find pleasing, money can indeed buy happiness. But this is the problem with that, and this is where people always kind of forget about when it comes to the idea of happiness. Happiness is an emotional high. You cannot maintain an emotional high. It's simply not possible. You cannot, and think about, since we're all nerds in this room, think about the cage, the original Star Trek pilot, and the fact that the Talosians could be blinded by hatred. Well, that's easy, right? I hate those Talosians, but to keep up the emotional state of hatred, to sustain that is impossible. Because that's just not the way we are designed. We can't maintain an emotional, an extreme emotional position for any length of time. It's simply not possible for our species, and probably for any species. So the idea of, but that's happiness. What a Christian should be seeking in their life is something called joy, which is not an emotional state like happiness. Joy is contentment. Joy is a perspective that you have on life, that you know when bad things happen, like right now, is, as I'm sure you guys are mostly very well aware, I've been in a lot of pain for the last several months. I have definitely not been happy. All right. In fact, quite the opposite. I've been rather depressed as far as my daily mood, and I've been quite snappy and easily angered, all as a direct result of this pain. It's made it impossible for me to get videos done. It's made it impossible for me to work. It's made life grind to a halt. So the last thing I could say I am is happy. But that joy comes despite your situation. The joy has nothing to do with your situation. And if you feel a sense of joy that comes from that, just, God is in control. As Spock would say in Star Trek VI, the universe will unfold as it should. That overriding comfort that you get from that kind of knowledge changes your perspective on it and makes it so that while you may not like your circumstances, you can look forward to the fact that they serve some kind of purpose, that they will ultimately, the universe will be okay, and you along with it. And so that's my diatribe about happiness and joy that I was thinking about as I was getting ready to start this live stream. Now, let's see what some of you guys have to say, other than BIRDOPREY saying that my coffee cup is utterly ridiculous, which is about the worst thing I've seen in the chat ever. And it says, your coffee cup looks like that Aerosmith cover, Get a Grip. Well, honestly, Robert, I'm not an Aerosmith fan, so let's take a look here. Aerosmith, Get a Grip. Yeah, I guess it kind of does. So, yeah, for those of you that don't know, I guess the Aerosmith Get a Grip album is just a close-up of a cow's udder, and the cow is branded with the Aerosmith logo. So, okay. And Schromer says, I already read that one. Mr. Captain says, more accurately, money buys peace of mind. Now, I would say this. Money, you do have a certain sense of peace of mind by having enough money, right? You don't have to stress over, am I going to pay the bills? However, and this is actually an interesting fact about money, money tends to create its own stresses, because if you have, like, obviously I'm not a wealthy person, but if, let's say, you have $10 million, right? Someone who has $10 million in the bank probably spends a lot of time worrying about how are they going to make their investments grow? Are their investments secure? Basically, you actually lose peace of mind because you become more obsessed with your money. Now, there are people that doesn't happen to, but that is rare. And I would dare say, Mr. Captain, that if you look at across the board, most of the people I know that were very wealthy were never very content, and nor were they ever feeling like they were wealthy, which is kind of funny. Because those of us that are not wealthy, regardless of whether we consider ourselves dirt poor or just average or whatever, but those of us that are not wealthy, we all tend to think, well, gosh, if only I had more money, life would be better. The problem is that if you get more money, while you can buy those moments of happiness that I was talking about, money is not going to give you that contentment. Money is not going to give you that peace of mind, as you would say, to just go, life is good. Life is pain. Anyone who tells you differently is selling you something, is one of my favorite quotes from film, and it is absolutely true. And the thing is that the joy that you can get comes from acknowledging that, accepting that, and being content in that, and then thinking about the ultimate purpose of the universe. Anyway, that was a long old diatribe. Yosef puts a couple of euros in. Thank you so much. I'm weirded out that it... Oh, there it is. Okay.
I got him! Great hit! Don't get cocky.
Thank you so much for your generosity, Yosef. I do truly appreciate it. Speaking of money, those €2 says, take this stress away from me. What a spin. Well, let's get your spin going first of all. Thank you again, Yosef. I do truly appreciate it, and you've been such a great friend of the channel. I can't thank you enough. And the funny thing is that, and this is absolutely true, and I know it sounds silly and counterintuitive and stuff, but one of the ways that you can use money to really enrich your own state of mind and everything is to use it to help others. And I don't just mean like super chats, although of course if you need to think of a good way to use some of your money to help others, you can always super chat. But if you have a neighbor in need, if you find out that someone that lives down the street is struggling with X and you have an excess of X, help them out, and that will feel better than almost anything you could possibly buy. Schromer says, hey, it's not so much the wealth is a bad thing. It's more a case of being ruled by your wealth and being happy without the need for money. Well, and that's kind of what joy is. It transcends the idea of simple happiness. Is that, yeah, it's ultimately joy is found in contentment. Unless you are a fish in a fish tank. They look pretty, they look okay to me. I think the fish are all right. Afternoon, Antrigger, says Peter, how is the word I won't say today? How is word I won't say today? Well, I'm not sure what word you won't say today, Peter, so, fine, I guess. And Edward says, I must admit that the cup is hideous. It is, but I love it. Let's see. Peter says, and I rented What We Left Behind today and checker from YouTube home video. Well worth the £3.49. It's wonderful. I can't wait to watch. BIRDOPREY actually sent it to me. It's over there on the table right now. But BIRDOPREY actually sent me a copy. Thank you, Joe. And I'm looking forward to watching it. But I have a couple other things ahead of it on the docket. But I'm very much looking forward to it. And let's see. The cup borderlines bestiality. I love it. Wow. Well, you know, it's funny because I want to know who's the first person that was looking at a cow and saying, you know, that thing that looks kind of like a ball sack hanging on the back of the female cows, and it's got those gigantic male organ looking nipples hanging off of it. Why don't we squeeze those, get some of the juice out of it, and drink it down? That sounds like a great idea. Who the heck came up with that? Seriously. Let's see. Well, I'd say not being stressed about bills and buying some new stuff. Yeah, that would be nice, right? And I will tell you, it's not, and I'm certainly not suggesting that wealth is a bad thing. And money, because money can buy happiness, but what's really what's really a life changer is to have joy in your life rather than happiness. Abby Olace is in the house. Says, good morning, Sunday morning, gang. Say a few prayers for me. I'm in a challenging time right now. Love you and give my love to the family. Wow, that was way wrong. Thank you, Abby, and I hope you are doing well. You are definitely in my prayers. And I don't know what your challenging time is all about, but I hope that you get through it very, very soon. Schromer says, Anti-Tracker, if you place God at the center of your life, then no matter where you are in life, wealthy or poor, healthy or ill, free or in prison, you will be able to get the most out of life. And that's part one. Part two says, it means that the cares of the world are not your primary concern, and you won't spend your life chasing passing things. You'll be able to experience true contentment. That is absolutely what I'm talking about here, Schromer. You are obviously a much more eloquent person than me, so I will yield the rest of the show to you. Ladies and gentlemen, Schromer. Say I'm done, right? Okay. Oh, sorry. Schromer doesn't have a video feed, so I guess that's going to be a problem. Eric is in the house. Says, "Good morning, Antricker. How are you doing this fine morning?" I'm hanging in there, Eric. I appreciate it. I'm very much looking forward to tomorrow. I get to see the orthopedic surgeon tomorrow, hopefully with some kind of definitive thing on my knee. Peter says, I always get pre-loved or refurbished. Okay. Most of the pre-loved stuff I get is refurbished anyways. That's an interesting way to put it. I like that. And Edward says, I could watch that forever. I assume you're talking about spitting Spock and not me drinking coffee. Peter says, hi all. Says, well, I use the money in the bank for the documentary, so less than 50 pence left. Well, in that case, Peter, don't go spending your last 50 pence because it'll probably come out of your bank as a service charge at some point. Aaron says, and just popping by to say hi, I wish you well. Thank you, Aaron, and I wish you well as well. Boy, that didn't ring off the... Yeah, but I hope you are doing well. Peter says, the spine entering, how's that going? You made me say it. Like I said, going to the doctor tomorrow to see if they're going to do surgery on the knee.
Hello,
and Abby, thank you so much.
I got him! Great kid! Don't get cocky.
I truly, truly appreciate that, Abby. It says, thank you for the prayers. I hope you're feeling better these days. It's nice to see you smile and hear you laugh. Thank you, Abby. You know what? I could not... it's been a very difficult road, I gotta admit. I'm just feeling cautiously optimistic because I think I'm getting to the end of this whole thing, and I'm done with the pain. I just want it to be over with. And Mrs. Anti-Checker though has been such a help. Would not be here right now without her. But yeah, Peter, so tomorrow I get to see the surgeon. Hopefully they're going to schedule a partial knee replacement on as soon as possible so that I can walk straight, and then that will help alleviate the pain in the back. That's kind of where I'm at. Peter says, I'll definitely be ordering the DS9 documentary. I think it's 15 pounds. Yeah, that sounds about right. I don't know exactly what it's costing, but 15 pounds sounds about right. Anti-Tracker, I recently watched a DS9 episode with Gabriel Bell. Scary how close we are to that and how close to the date. That sounds familiar, but I can't place it. Who was Gabriel Bell? I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank. And Schromer's going to be praying for Abby. Thank you, Schromer. Edward says, most major genre IPs are in the hands of TV and movie writers with no talent, taste, respect, or self-restraint. But Trek's corruption annoys me the most. Feel sorry for the Star Wars fans, though. Yeah, you know what, Edward? It's funny because, 2017 will be a year that lives in infamy among us nerds because both Star Trek and Star Wars took the major hit at the end of 2015. In October, Star Trek Discovery came out, and then in December, of course, The Last Jedi. And Peter says, oh, it's a big holiday weekend here. Well, lucky you, so you won't get any money for sure. And not looking forward to what they do with the MCU either. Me neither. I'm very nervous about it. Although some of the stuff they've said at D23 was encouraging. Like, I like the idea of a She-Hulk show. I really do. If they follow She-Hulk as she was in the comics. At least as I remember. I don't know what she's been lately. If she's been some SJW nonsense crap. But I loved her back in the 80s and the 70s. Let's see. Still, there is books. That's true. And Tromer is coughing, high-pitched, squeaky voice. And Peter says, just England, Wales, and neat. Anti-Trekker, as Scotland has this holiday. What was that? Was that you, Auntie? Why are you squeaking? Wow, that was weird. So just England, Wales, and neat. Anti-Trekker, as Scotland has this holiday on the 2nd of January. I would far prefer that one. Well, we can't always get the holiday dates that we want. I think that every day should be a holiday. And there's Abby's super chat. Again, Abby, thank you so much. That's very kind. Peter says, it's all up in the air, Edward, so unsure. I'm still going to watch. What was... as far as the MCU, yeah. Agreed. I'm going to watch it until it becomes unwatchable, but I'm just not particularly optimistic about the MCU, which I feel so bad about because this last 10 years, these Marvel movies have been so freaking awesome. And being a person who's a Marvel fanboy all the way back to the early 70s, I'm just devastated. The more they ruin sci-fi, the more time I spend in church. It's God's way of saving me, so it's kind of all my fault. Well, Edward, then, you know what? Hurry up and get yourself saved so God can then focus his attention on fixing sci-fi again. Peter says, no wonder, Antricker, so you'll be metal in your knee like me. Yes, I will be. I'll have to come up with something to officially call myself a cyborg at that point. Thundercats is here. Says, morning from the UK. It's a bank holiday weekend here, so I'm enjoying your show, watching the cricket, and sipping a cold one. Very good, my friend. Although, first of all, enjoying my show, that's great. Watching cricket? I don't know. Don't get me wrong, I don't even know jack about cricket, but isn't cricket like the European equivalent of what we call baseball, and to me, baseball is the most boring sport. And BIRDOPREY says, Trump is about to put people in ghettos? What? Bird, aren't you the big Trump supporter? Wait, what's going on? I try not to follow politics anymore. Aaron says, DS9 time travel episodes, Seika takes the role of Gabriel Bell in the process. Oh, yeah. Okay. Thank you. I forgot about that. And he kind of led a revolt. I get you. And then Bird says the Bell riots. Yes. But, are you saying Trump is going to put people in ghettos because we're close to the date from Deep Space Nine? And Richie Poole says, past tense, parts 1 and 2, Sanctuary Cities and Gabriel Bell, those homeless and unemployed. Yes, I get it now. Absolutely. Sorry, that's the funny, it's one of those things where you say Gabriel Bell, doesn't click, but you say that one where Cisco, okay, I got you now. Hey, what's up, Hey Trigger? 6 pence, none the richer here. Well, you know what? I don't understand that phrase entirely. I know it's an old phrase, but I don't know where that came from. But welcome, Eric. Yosef says, I'm supporting a bit my nephew. Family has only so much money. So I get him stuff like piracy shoes, etc. Sounds superficial, but teenagers have different priorities. That's cool. But you know what? Absolutely. If you help someone like that, it's so nice to feel, especially if you're not doing it for any kind of personal gain, right? If you are, and I know this sounds stupid, but if you want to feel good about yourself, help out somebody else. That is the best feeling you'll ever have for yourself, is the feeling of generously, unashamedly helping someone with no expectation of anything in return. And you will get a peace of mind that is phenomenal. And it's kind of weird because it doesn't make any kind of logical sense, but it's true. And Hector says, grinding one of my bases with tears in my eyes. I know the feeling. We've been, I got to get back to that today, but I also got a video to finish. So yeah, for those of you that don't know, the Space Engineers server is going to have to be restarted. However, what that means, and BIRDOPREY, thank you so much. And says, Sister of Prey wants to see Auntie. Well, I'm not going to make her get up, but Sister of Prey, that is Auntie. There, I'll make her bigger there for you. And Auntie is older than Sassy, but Auntie is also not morbidly obese like Sassy. Auntie is a beautiful little rescue beagle. We think she's somewhere in the neighborhood of about 7 years old, and just a very sweet dog. And this is her usual diligent position here, guarding her bed. That's all she does, is sleep. But thank you, Bird, for the $2. I truly, truly appreciate it. And by the way, I've never actually met your sister. So hi, Sister O'Prey. I hope you are doing well today. And Peter says, check Discord, joke about the knee. All right, Peter, I hate checking Discord in the middle of a live stream, but let's see. Control plus. Oh, that's just horrible. Let me see if I can, where'd it go? Where did it go? Oh, I did the wrong, man, sometimes where did it go? Dumb old thing. Open Discord back up. Here we go. And control plus. Dummy. Alright, toward metal. So where is, go to the game screen. All right, so this first one here, I'm trying to zoom in, but it's not letting me. But it says if your metal detector goes off, then you just found aliens. And then the other one says metal detector, and it shows a couple members of the band Kiss going through a metal detector, because why the heck not? So. Peter says, hi, BIRDOPREY. Mr. Cat says, Cisco and Bashir got sent back to 2024, got stuck in the detention center. Yeah, I remember the episode. I did not remember that it was only 2024. Wow, we are getting close. Peter says, I have a screw in my right knee. Well, then your knee is screwed. Thundercats, see, that's a him. Show like another life. Wait. Show like another life is beyond saving. It's basically what nasty nerds will watch in hell. And BBB is Sister O'Prey. Oh, hey, Sister O'Prey. Good to see you. And so I see that's why Bird put that chat in, because he's trying to get my attention because I'm so far behind. But you know what? BBB, Sister O'Prey. I am not nearly as far behind as Bird is on a typical stream, and he'll admit that. Schromer says all those booty calls from AOC to BIRDOPREY has turned his political ideologies 180. Yeah, it seems like it. I think BIRDOPREY has gone to full-blown socialist now. Edward says, don't follow politics. Life is better without it. A lot of us that love politics are constantly depressed. I'll tell you, I used to be a political junkie. I really was. But I've broken that habit because it's so depressing. And honestly, another thing is that it's also a form of idolatry, really, in that we tend to think, and we all do this, especially those of us that follow the politics and stuff, is we think if just this person gets elected, everything will be better. But if that person gets elected, everything's going to fall apart, right? We tend to do this. And that is actually a form of idolatry, because your salvation does not rest in Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton or Barack Obama or George Bush. It just doesn't. And then Edward says the band. I'm not sure what you mean there. And Peter says, let's see. Oh, talking to Thundercats. BBB says, my brother and I don't agree on politics, but we do agree we'd like to see the pup. Hashtag more Beagle. Yeah, I understand. Well, I'm sure that, first of all, your brother is crazy. And I think that he's just, very, very distraught and grumpy and basically just a tainted, horrible individual because he's stuck in that bed. I think that's really all it is. So what you should do, Sister O'Prey, right now is roll him out of the bed and tell him to get his butt up and just start walking around and get over it. There we go. So now I'm just imagining this huge thud as BIRDOPREY is being rolled out of bed. Just think of when peace was mentioned earlier, says Eric. Okay. When Pence was mentioned. Why did I say, man, I can't read. Sorry, guys. I am dyslexic. I feel great when I help others, and it don't have to take money. That's true. But I'm just saying, if anything you can do to help others, but if you happen to be wealthy, you can help a lot of other people. And honestly, you should. That is, the more you have, the more of an influence you should be on assisting those in need. I can't say it enough. Let's see. Thunderguts is talking to Peter. BIRDOPREY says, that's it. Mom O'Prey is unsubbing. Why is Mom O'Prey unsubbing? I love Mom O'Prey. She's the most awesome of the O'Preys. Although I like Sister O'Prey too. And she says they're very food motivated. Beagles, absolutely. Food and scent. That's all beagles care about. And Auntie is it's so funny because, training her to not follow her nose is an impossibility. However, we just train to redirect her when necessary, and that's what we've been working on. And so, Bird, but you gotta tell you, why would Mom O'Prey be unsubbing other than the fact that I told you to just get your butt up? And Sister O'Prey says, thank you. You're more than welcome. So you are not rabid right-wing capitalist dictator then? No, yeah, I get the distinct feeling that Sister O'Prey is definitely not. 2 jokes about the knee if you didn't get them. I got them, Peter. I showed them the metal detector and the with the dude saying if your metal detector goes off, you found aliens. The other one with the metal band going through a metal detector, which is really stupid. Well, I think they're good. Peter, they're silly, and it's English, yes. And Peter's like, yeah, screwed, exactly. Thundercats retracted something. Then Test cricket is more tactical than baseball. It's a battle of nutrition over 5 days. So what, they feed each other, and whoever feeds the more healthy meal wins. And it's also a sport where you don't have to always pay 100% attention, so it allows for naps. Yeah, if a sport allows for naps, it's not a freaking sport, Thundercats. I'm sorry. Politics here has gone downhill too. I trigger the past 10 years have been hard on me. Yeah, I'm kind of, you know what? In the United States, politics really fell apart back in the late 1990s during the Bill Clinton administration when the Republicans smelled blood in the water and went for the impeachment. That was the death of modern politics. And don't get me wrong, I'm not defending Clinton's actions. However, that impeachment was the death of politics in this country. Sixpence None the Richer was a band. Oh, okay. But I thought that was an expression as well. And Sister O'Prey says, truth. I assume that if we just, get BIRDOPREY out of that stupid bed, that he would be in a much better mood and less of a right-wing dictator. And John DeMarco's in the house, says hello. Peter Quinn says, hey, Mom and BIRDOPREY. Yes, absolutely. Say hi to Mom O'Prey, the best of the O'Preys. Richie says, I think sleep is all Auntie cares about. I think you are right. Well, she does like food, but she only likes food at, she had her breakfast before the show. You can see the empty bowl in front of her. So I give her breakfast every morning at about this time, and I give her dinner every evening before I do an evening live show. On days that I don't do an evening live show, I still give her dinner, of course. So just don't think that I only feed her when I'm doing a live show. Paul, I already read that. And Sassy obviously cares quite a bit about food. And let's see. No one in the office should affect us that way, but the G-men have been kinder to my wallet since Trump has been in office. Well, here's the thing. It's one thing. I mean, yeah, they're all obviously, like, for example, some people did benefit from the Obamacare plan, although I certainly did not. My health care has gone way up in price and way down in quality. But, I understand people benefit based on whoever gets elected, but it's not your salvation. That's the idea, is that people literally think that one politician or another is going to save them. And I'm sorry. You know what? You have your faith in the wrong place if you really believe that. And Commander Shran is in the house, says hello. BIRDOPREY says, Mama prays on something for calling Sassy fat. She can't defend herself. Well, okay. Mama Pray. Sassy looks like a sweet, sweet dog. And I would probably love to see Sassy one day. However, it's okay for, I'm not fat dog shaming. I'm just saying that Sassy is a portly little beagle. She's adorable, but come on. She's a portly little beagle, but she looks like a very sweet dog. And so I'm not saying that Sassy is a bad dog, but to say she's not fat is, well, that's like me saying I'm not fat. I am, and I'm fatter than Sassy. So, that's not an insult or a compliment. It's simply a statement of fact. Amy is in the house. Hello, Amy. Hope you are doing well. I haven't seen you in a little while. Danny says hello. And Sister O'Prey said, by the way, BBB, you should just change your username to Sister O'Prey. You really should. Because I'm assuming with a username like BBB, you don't, I assume you don't like produce a lot of content or anything. And I don't know if you, I'm actually going to your channel right now. Yeah, I see you have 2 videos on your channel, and it looks like they are, well, one of them at least is Beagles, and it's from 9 years ago. So both of your videos are from 9 years ago. So BBB, you should have Joe show you right now how to change your name to Sister O'Prey so that everybody will know exactly who you are, especially DJ Odyssey, who, by the way, is completely in love with you. And so Mr. Lundell says, good morning. How you doing? BIRDOPREY says, what about lunch and snacks? No, she eats twice a day, and that's what the veterinarian recommended.
Hello.
And so yes, and Anthony McGregor, thank you so much.
Don't get cocky.
I do appreciate the pound. I do. And if you want a super chat reward, you can put number 1 through, was it 27 now, into the chat, and I will be more than happy to play it for you, Anthony. Luke Fovark, my favorite half Frenchman, is in the house. Good to see you, Luke. And says, hail to the anti-tracker, hail to the Me Poo community, hail to you, my friend. I hope you are doing well this afternoon in France, I think. I'm sure Anti-Dog needs some clinical lab tests to determine hyperthyroidism, but Anti-Tracker is confident on his first consult with the vet. Well, Auntie is not. Actually, her weight is pretty close to ideal for her size. She weighs 16 pounds, and her build is slightly smaller than average beagle, and so that's actually about right. And our vet, I will tell you, is I almost said the word. Our vet is an absolute German military during the 1940s when it comes to weight. She is constantly getting on us about our cat because our cat actually weighs a little bit more than Auntie. But that's because that particular breed is a heavy breed. Hello, and she refuses to admit that. And Luke throws a couple of euros in. Thank you so much, Luke. And I didn't quite catch the comment, but I'll get to it in just a minute, Luke. Thank you, my friend. I do truly appreciate it. And let's see. Peter says, my cat gets fed kibble in the morning and wet food every other day. Well, I actually do something similar, but Auntie gets a dry food breakfast every morning. It's actually a mixture of one of the more premium. And Bird of Prey, thank you so much. I will get to yours in just a minute as well, my friend. Auntie gets a bowl. It's one of the premium Purina foods, actually. And I know Purina, but I'm not going to spend $50 for a freaking 2-pound bag of dog food. Anyway, and then we mix it with this really good, high quality freeze-dried stuff. I can't remember what it's called exactly. It's raw something. And we mix it together. She loves it. And then in the evening, she gets canned food. And we've been kind of looking at different brands as far as trying to find something that is a good balance of price and quality. Anthony says, howdy. Bird of Prey says, you're body shaming sassy. I'm not body shaming sassy. But I'm simply saying the truth. And here's the thing. There's a difference between, and it's funny because I know body shaming is a stupid thing, but when we say body shaming, I get so angry about that because you know what? You should not be, I am not proud of the fact that I'm fat, right? And so the only person shaming my body is me. And I'm working on losing weight. And actually, Mrs. Anti-Checker's done most of the work, but I am trying to lose weight. And so far, I've lost about 15 pounds. Awesome. But I got about 50 more pounds to go. But I'm not going to be proud of being fat. And I think that if you are fat, and I know a significant number of us probably are, you shouldn't be proud of it. You should try to alleviate that situation. And I hate, it's not I don't think that you should insult people because of their weight or whatever, but I also don't think that it's okay to be out of shape. I think that if you are out of shape like me or many others, you should try to get in shape any way you can. Thundercats Ho says, H.R. yes, the batsman have to feed each other while crossing at the crease. I have no idea what that sentence means, my friend. It never is the salvation, Anti-Checker, when it comes to voting in politics. It never is. Have you heard, Anti-Checker, Trump is the king of Israel. He could come save us. And Bird of Prey says, this is hate speech. Of course you do. There's Anthony's Super Chat. Again, Anthony, if you want a Super Chat reward, throw number 1 through 26 in there, and I will play it for you. Peter says, my local MP, Mary Glidden, has helped me out in the past. That's cool. I don't know what that means, but cool. Anthony McGregor, I'm not good. Just wanted to give you a spare quid I had laying around in the back. Oh, I'm good. As far as this Super Chat. It's a spare quid I had laying around in the back. Well, thank you. So a quid is £1? I always wondered about that. When I hear somebody, I got 2 quid in a movie or something. So a quid is £1. Is that accurate? And then Peter says, Anti-Tracker. Okay. BIRDOPREY says wants the newest Uber for the sister. All right, Sister of Prey, you are in for a treat. So as you may know, BIRDOPREY and I have been at war, and yeah, this is what happens when BIRDOPREY marches off to war. I don't know why this one always gets stuck.
Base, this is Anti-Trigger aboard the Goliath. Please confirm that we sent communication ships to anybody in the area so that they would know not to be in their ships right now. Thank you, Base. We're going to commence with weapons test.
I left the chips on your ship? What chips? What's a chip? You left chips on the ship. I don't even know what the hell a chip is.
Roger, Base. This
You
is
mean like
Anti-Trigger
computers?
in the Goliath, ready for weapons test.
I don't see anything on the ship. Am I missing something? Oh, right there. I am missing something. What the hell is that?
Roger, Base. Preparing to fire weapons at lowest settings in 3, 2.
Shoot the son of a bitch, says Chief Cook. Kronos is lolling. Wesley says you missed. It was a warrant.
And weapons test appears to be successful. Base, we success. Wait. Was BIRDOPREY on that ship? Wait, I think I see a life pod out there. BIRDOPREY, can you hear me? BIRDOPREY, are you okay? No! God damn it! Are you crying, Bird? Why do you hate me? I'm not crying. I've got soot in my eyes.
So there you go, Sister O'Prey. Bird's official excuse when he starts crying is that he has soot in his eyes. And Luke, let's see, and I don't know why I missed that, but Luke put in his €2 and says, I just expect one thing from politics, improvement. I would like to see that. The problem is, of course, we never get it, but yes. And let's see, I missed a couple of comments up here, so let's see. The only way the politicians will be our salvation is if they all agree to a suicide pact. That's horrible, resolute, but probably true. Not Ryan John says, A-Trick is fat shaming a dog. Shame, shame, shame. I'm not fat shaming the dog. Jeez. Peter says, I'll be voting for my local MP. I'm not sure what MP is, who's Labor in the next election, A-Tricker. So I'll be voting for Jeremy Corbyn for Prime Minister, and he has policies that benefit everyone. Well, I don't know much about the Labor Party or any other politics in your part of the world, my friend, but I just hope that whoever is in office in your country does a good job and does benefit everyone. I don't care if they're the Labor Party or whatever you call your other parties, you know, because I have no clue. I just hope, I want life to be better for all citizens of the UK, for everybody across Europe, and of course around the world, including the United States. That being said, I think that we get overly obsessed with this politician is going to save us, and that's the problem that we need, that we all should be careful to check ourselves at. And let's see, saw that one. All right, and so Peter is saying, afternoon to Luke, it's 15:10 in France and 2:10 here. Well, 15:10 and 2:10 is 14:10. So why did you say 15:10 for France and 2:10 for you when it's really 14:10? Or why didn't you say 3:10 in France? You confused me, my friend. We could make the mass suicide an annual thing for them. That would be awesome. It's not about the weight, it's how much she is in active sleeping. Well, obviously, Auntie spends a lot of time sleeping. But and this is one advantage I do, and in fact, one reason that Mrs. Anti-Checker suggested that I get Anti is to force me to get up and move around, because with the pain I'm in, I could, and really, if it were up to me, I probably would try to, I would just be either doing when I'm not doing a live stream, I'd just be lying down. I wouldn't be doing anything else, and and I understand, and this is not a slight on Bird, of course, because he's bedridden for a serious reason. I mean, he's seriously lazy. But for me, I that's not acceptable. So Mrs. Anti-Checker suggested I get Anti, because that forces me to get up and walk around the block at least 3 or 4 times a day, and that helps keep me moving, and it's also helped me lose weight. So there is that. But Auntie gets regular exercise. She just likes to sleep a lot in between, and she's a middle-aged older dog, so that's not all that unusual. Rock solid. Hey, good to see you, my friend. I hope things are going well with your family. Thoughts and prayers. By the way, for anybody that is a believer, keep Rock solid in your prayers. He just lost a family member, and that can be, especially when it happens suddenly, that can be so difficult. So I hope you are doing well, my friend. But it says, don't forget to smash the like button, share via social, set chat to live, donate if you can, subscribe, turn your mic on before you stream. Hey, I remember to do that today. And down with Karoga. Absolutely. Peter says it's always good to mix food up for pets. Absolutely. And that's why her diet is 3 different brands of food. And we try to give her what you would call a balanced diet. Luke says, yep, it's 3 p.m. here. Furthermore, I only expect politicians to leave affairs in a better state than they got them when they started them, no matter how small progression, not regression. I agree with you, Luke. Unfortunately, that's not what we see, but that is ideally what we would get. I want number 11. I'm assuming UBERCHAT number 11, so let's pull that bad boy up. Oh, the other Karoga and Turnistan video.
But here's what we're gonna do. It's a beautiful day in Karoga. Of course, it's time to protect the Karoga homelands. Ah, shit! We're already taking shots. What the hell was that? What? Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. Who shot me? Who shot me? Where's the body? There it is. God damn it. God damn it. It would help if it was telling me where people were shooting from. Fuck! Alamarine, if you can see, Alamarine, you'll come with me. Alamarine.
I do love that one. And by the way, Sister O'Prey, just so you know, that's not even all that we have of great footage of Bird. The best one of all, of course, is about his Klingon roots. Anyway, let's get back to it. Mr. Cap says, Alexa, change voice, English accent, and read Webster's dictionary. Ooh, that would take a while. Dr. Alex is here. Good to see you, Doctor. Sorry I'm so far behind in the in the chat, but welcome, my friend. One of these days, I'm hoping that you'll be able to make one of the evening live streams because Mrs. Anti-Trekker is anxious to try out your mead, but we're not going to do it until we can do it while you are in attendance. Roxas says, I'm in a terrible signal area right now, but wanted to stop in and send my love to the geek community. Very cool, Rock. If you see this, you're in my thoughts and prayers, and I know that many others as well. And let me know when if you do hear any of this, let me know when you're heading back home and you pass through Murfreesboro, because I think would be awesome to see you when you pass through. They have Harrington kibble at the moment, Anti-Trigger, and they wolf it down. Yes. Good kibble, dogs absolutely will tear apart. Well, cats also, obviously. Harringtons do dog food too. Okay, well, the cat is on a strictly dry food diet, but every year on his birthday, Mrs. Anti-Trekker insists on getting him a really good piece of can of premium cat food. But I keep thinking, like the cat knows it's his birthday. Come on. And so, let's see. Bird says, I think it's a little more than 50. What? I have no idea what you're talking about, Bird, but then again, you said that a few minutes ago, so that's probably why. I'm going to just read the stuff addressed to me for a couple of minutes so that I can get caught up. Luke says, yep, you should not shame fat people, but you should not encourage them to continue putting fat either. Quite the opposite. Agreed, Luke. And it's a tricky thing to criticize someone with a loving attitude. That can be very difficult. And Dr. Alex confirms, yes, a quid is a pound. Thank you, my friend. I keep tagging Anthony McGregor and Tricker, so if I tag you, you may have to look at the previous comment. Gotcha. And then he says hi to Anthony. And then let's see, this Space Engineers, Anti-Trekker, and BIRDOPREY. You lost me. But the game that we were playing with Space Engineers, both of those super chats, actually. Space Engineers actually is one of the very few games. It's like, this is what Star Trek Online should be. It's got good ground combat and good space combat. And it's seamless. And so, as opposed to Star Trek Online feels like you're playing two different games. I can tell this happened in real life. Yeah, well, with BIRDOPREY, yes. I've ran out of beer, so heading out to the local supermarket to refill the fridge. Enjoy your day. Yes, quid is 1 pound or 100 pennies. Thank you, Thundercats, and enjoy your beer. Continuum is in the house, says, what's up, Trekkers? I'm Trekker. Going to give you a shout out later for publishing my vids on your site and BIRDOPREY 5.2. Thank you, Continuum. You don't have to give me a shout out, but I always accept them. Being on the certified nerd list, you know what? It just means that we have seen your work and we believe that you are speaking from the heart, and you do. So, that's all it is. Watching before my church picnic. Hail Doomcock. Absolutely, my friend, and have fun at your church picnic. Hope the weather is good wherever you guys are. Darren says, Anti-Trekker, good morning. Hey, quick question. When you record yourself playing computer games, what program do you use? Same one I'm using this very moment. It is called XSplit. And XSplit is an absolutely wonderful program. There is a freebie kind of version, but I think that the only real limitation for the free version of XSplit is that you can only record up to like 720p or something like that. But I'm not sure. I haven't had the free version in a long time because I just bought a permanent license for it. But XSplit allows you to record what's on any of your screens or just a section of a screen. It allows you to obviously do live streams and be able to switch between scenes and stuff. And it's what allows me to have myself and then over here Auntie and over here the tip jar and all that stuff is all processed in XSplit. So, and that's just like it sounds, XSPLIT. MP is Member of Parliament. Thank you, Peter. I wasn't sure, because, we don't, obviously we either say senator or representative for our politicians. Peter says, I say the time difference for some of the U.S. viewers. Gotcha. Some may not know what 1420 is. True, but it was just kind of weird because if you say 1520 and then you say 2:20, it sounds like you're talking about 3:20 in the afternoon and 2:20 in the morning. Miss Sister O'Prey says, we all have different values. Truly respecting that means knowing self-improvement needs to be self-directed. It's not cool to look at someone who's cosmetically overweight and assume they're unhealthy. I agree. But I also think that, I think that the fat pride thing is stupid. Because I'm not going to take pride in the fact that I have an unhealthy body weight. And I'm not going to lie. I know that it's not aesthetically pleasing to see someone who's overweight, and that includes my own big old gut, and that's one of the reasons I'm trying to get rid of it. Labour Party is left-wing UK party. The British Isles and France are one, I assume that's our, not your, apart as far as time zones. Hence why it's 2:19 for Peter, 3:19 for you. Yeah, that's what I figured. I've heard the term the Labour Party, and it sounds like a left-wing party because Labour, at least in the United States, generally refers to unions, and unions are very left-wing. Chris is in the house. Good to see you, Chris. My partner in crime on the Space Engineers server, and says good morning. By the way, anybody that doesn't know, if you play on the Space Engineers server, the reason that earlier Hector said this and Chris reminded me is that the server is going to be completely wiped and reset tonight at midnight Central Standard Time. So what that means is that in approximately, let's see, so it'll be 12, 30, 40, 50, 15 and a half hours from right now, anything in the game will be deleted. Now, does that mean you shouldn't play today? No, quite the opposite. It means that what you want to do is gather together everything you can, get it onto a single ship, save that ship as a blueprint, get that blueprint over to Cinnabon Bunny, and he will spawn it in the new world for you once the server is reset. And the reason the server is being completely wiped and reset has to do with the latest patch to the game. It's nobody's fault that's playing on our server. It's just that, unfortunately, the game patch wouldn't take until we did a complete wipe and restart of the server. So the server will be down for probably at least an hour, maybe a little bit longer tonight at midnight. Cinnabon, thank you. If you see this, thank you so much for your hard work in keeping the server maintained. Under the new server, we're going to have a couple of rule changes and a couple of changes to the server. Number one, we're improving the server's abilities. So instead of a max of 10 players, there will be a max of 30 players at any given time in the game. So that means that more people will be able to play. I'm going to actually put up a couple of videos, regular videos, to let people know, hey, join the server. It's lots of fun. Number two, no longer are you safe if you're not logged in. And so all things are fair game in the game as far as attack at any time. If you find the enemy encampment, you can take them out anytime. You don't have to get permission or anything. However, the main thing to remember is that every faction will have a safe zone. And a safe zone in the game is a new thing with this new patch. It basically makes it so that you can build an area that cannot be attacked. And so you have your main base you can keep in a safe zone and nobody can ever destroy it. However, you can't function completely in a safe zone. So you're going to have to eventually move beyond it. And then the other thing is that nobody is to be allied with both Kurdistan and Karoga. If you're going to be allied with one, you cannot be allied with the other, because and I know that this sounds stupid, but it's true. We had hardly any combat in the game because everybody was just friends. Well, in the real world, let's be real. If the United States military just decided to wander into North Korea, I don't think they would be treated with too much, hugs and all that. But you can join Karoga, and I do encourage. I do want people to join Karoga, just because it wasn't entirely fair in that in Kurdistan we had about 5 regular active members. Karoga had 3, and so we did have a little bit of an advantage. I want the teams to be close to balance, but we're not going to force people to join one party or the other. But you can't be allied with both. However, it's a lot of fun, and it's basically setting up our own little free mini MMO on a persistent world that all you have to do is buy Space Engineers, and you can play on. Go to AndyTrekker.com to get instructions. Sister of Prey says, we all have different, I already read that, let's see, or unhappy wanting to lose weight, yes. Alex says, good morning, hey Alex, my condolences to you, Rocks, absolutely, rock solid, everybody should be sending him some good vibrations, prayers, thoughts, whatever you believe in. Yeah, Phoenix is a middle-aged cat, and Trigger, Phoenix is a beautiful cat. Servillan is... a scary looking cat. Looks like it's the cat that's going to eat your eyeballs while you sleep. And so for those of you that are wondering, where is the right button? I'm tired today. These are Peter's 2 cats. And so the one on the bottom looks kind of like our cat Marshmallow, except Marshmallow's longer hair, but the coloration is very similar. Marshmallow's a rag doll, if you know what those are. Resolute says, if you're willing to try yoga, I am willing to try yoga, but right now I can't move very well. That's the problem. And so, and so right now it's like, they just need to stabilize the back so that I can function. That's why I have been having so much difficulty as far as getting videos done, because I am in constant pain and it's very difficult for me to do anything. That'll be early morning here at Trekker. Dr. Alex probably won't be on there for a late one. I know. I'm waiting. One of these days, Dr. Alex will be on when me and Mrs. Trekker are both available. And so you said you still had about 50 pounds to lose. Bird was commenting that he thinks it may be more than 50. Oh well, Bird is a jerk. But no. Basically, the most I ever weighed in my life was 300 pounds. And right now I'm at about 275, and Mrs. Anti-Trekker thinks I look best at about 225. So Mrs. Anti-Trekker is the ultimate boss, and so that is my goal. Derek says, too much weight is sore on the heart. Very true. Peter says, I gave up on Star Trek Online as I wanted to see everything, not to do missions all the time. Yeah, and honestly, I'm so mad because I love the concept of Star Trek Online, but the execution of it is really subpar. Darren says, XSplit, got it, thanks, no problem. Dr. Alex says, I will try to be awake for your next night stream, Anti-Trekker. Have to pop off the stream now to be virtuous and actually do some writing. All right, well, have a good day, Dr. Alex. Hector says, why in a single ship? Aren't all ships pasted in the next... Well, yeah, I'm just saying, like, it would be easiest if you try to, and I'll tell you, here's what you do, Hector. Build a docking connector on, say you have 3 ships. You build a couple of docking connectors on one ship, and then one on each of the others. You dock them all together, you make one blueprint. And the only reason I want people to do that, Hector, you don't have to. You can send 20 blueprints over to Cinnabon, but that's just creating more work for Cinnabon. We're going to try to get all of Turtistan into a single blueprint today. And if we can, awesome. If we can't, well, we'll try to keep it to a minimum. So if we have fewer blueprints, it makes it much easier on Cinnabon, as he has to set up everybody's stuff. And that's going to take time. Or save everything on your home PC and Trekker for Space Engineers. Well, it doesn't work that way. Because you can save the blueprint on your home computer, but it's not going to paste it into the new game. And so what you would want to do is to actually save the blueprint, get it to Cinnabon, so Cinnabon will paste it in the new game, because no one will have creative mode in the new server, because we don't want to tempt people with that. Mr. Miles is here, says first, Mr. Miles, I am truly sorry I missed a couple of your Skype things last night, because and yesterday afternoon as well. Miles was doing some great editing, by the way, on Avengers Endgame, which I would love to show you, but it would get me a copyright strike. But basically, doing something like the anti-cheese edit of Star Wars with Endgame, taking it, because Endgame was an excellent movie, but Captain Marvel was cringeworthy, to say the least. And by the way, I haven't watched the new ones, but have you done the keep away scene where the all girl Avengers moment? Because I had a thought about that. Let's see. Going back to again, I'm just reading this stuff addressed directly to me because I'm way the heck behind. Andrew, I was on someone else's live stream recently. I got put into a timeout by a monitor and wasn't able to comment. Well, I don't know what you did, Dan, but yes, any of the moderators can put people in timeout for like 300 seconds, which is, 5 minutes. Usually, most of the time people don't have to do that here. However, what will trigger that kind of thing, and most of the people that are moderators know this. Like if somebody uses the correct term, and I know it's wrong, but we have to preserve the channel first. If somebody uses the correct term for the militaristic German political movement of the 1940s or the name of its leader repeatedly in the chat, that can get a video flagged nowadays. YouTube is very, very strict about that kind of stuff. So the way to combat that is, we don't say that. We say the German government of the 1940s or whatever, but we do not say the actual N word that we know is the correct term for that. But sometimes people don't listen and they use the term anyway over and over and over, and they've been timed out for that. So like that happened to, Alexander, crazy Alexander, who I love. He's a great guy, but he did it a few times and he got timed out and then he stopped doing it. So I think, that's sunk in. And let's see. Shomer says, BIRDOPREY just saw a spider in your back, wanted to remove it. That's why he opened fire and then reloaded. Yes. It wasn't a little advantage. One of the Kurogans is BIRDOPREY 5. That's true, Hector. That is true. He caused way more damage to Kuroga ships than Turkestan. That is also true. And BIRDOPREY even admits it's true. Servillan as in Blake's 7. Ah, okay, that's I'm probably butchering the pronunciation, but gotcha. I've heard of Blake's 7, I don't know it. I'll be online late for one day 2. I'll be online for a late one day 2. Awesome. When younger at school, we did yoga and PE. I did not enjoy it. I don't hate the idea of yoga, but I would rather, if I could, I would do something more along the lines of Tai Chi or something. I think I would enjoy that more. But right now, I can barely function. Antrigger, all Turkestan may be too big to paste at one time. You may purposely consider multiple blueprints. Well, keep in mind, it's... well, you've seen what we have. We're not, well, we may break, I'll probably save it both as a single blueprint and as multiple blueprints to make sure that Cinnabon can do whichever way he prefers. But yeah, obviously you don't want to overload the server. So if you have 750,000 ships, don't dock them all together because that won't be pasteable. Enter, I'm working on it now. Hopefully won't get hit next time. Awesome. So you need an update to save too, Enter. Seems like a bad, you need to update the save too, Trigger. Seems a bad way to do it. Not sure what you mean. Just purchased Space Engineers, downloading it now, so look out for another noob in the game. Awesome. And you know what? It's totally cool to be a noob in the game because most of us are. There's only a few experienced players. But it's just a lot of fun. And it's obviously, because Bird and I are the two main leaders in the game, and we both suck at this game. However, I will say this. Our most experienced player is Chris. Chris has done some incredible stuff building ships and showing me how to build some stuff. Like I now can build jump drives on my ships because of Chris. He's a great guy. Thomas Potts is the most industrious person on our team. He is constantly working. He's not experienced, but he's a very creative builder and been doing a lot of stuff for the team. So Thomas and Chris are the real anchors of Turkestan. I've been, the only thing I can really take credit for is I built the Goliath, but a lot of what I did with the Goliath, I learned from Chris and benefited also from Chris's insane mining operation because he keeps it so that I don't have to constantly farm more resources. However, here's what I would suggest. When you join the game, now the server is going to be rebooted tomorrow, so once you join the server, play around a little bit on your own, just spawn randomly or whatever, and learn the basics of the game. Then join either Turkestan or Kuroga. But honestly, look at the list and you see who has the most players, right? So if Turkestan has, let's say that tomorrow you go in there and Turkestan has 7 players and Karoga has 3. Well, then do yourself a favor, join Karoga. It's more fun if the two sides are balanced. And so on the flip side, if obviously Karoga has 7 and Turkestan has 3, join Turkestan. Or if you feel totally confident on going on your own, you can be independent or join like the Vile ones. They're an independent group and that kind of thing. However, the Vile ones, remember, you cannot be at war with, or you cannot be at peace with both us and Karoga. So you can either be at war with both, or you can be at peace with one. And you can't just keep switching back and forth. And so, let's see. And I'm not sure. Let's see. Can you send the endgame edit to me at Jicker? Not yet. What I'm going to try to do is actually when Miles, and I'll tell you, what I've seen of Miles's work on the endgame edit has been phenomenal. When he finishes what he's doing with it, and we have our Vimeo server up and running, I will post it there for all to see. Because I love what Miles is doing with it. Trying to work out U.S. stops. 1, 2 for a holiday. St. Louis, Indianapolis, Salt Lake City, Memphis, Columbus, Nashville, mid to late November. Suggestions? Well, Nashville for sure, Amy, because if you stop in Nashville and I will meet up with you. Because... I live just south of Nashville. Murfreesboro, Tennessee is about 40 miles south of Nashville. So we could definitely meet at a Starbucks or a Waffle House or whatever and hang out a little bit. And yeah, I think that could be fun. Other than that, if you're just looking for an interesting place to go, I would probably say, I don't know. I've never been to St. Louis, Indianapolis. Memphis is great for barbecue. Nashville is great for music. Don't know anything about Columbus, Ohio. Salt Lake City is absolutely gorgeous if you like natural wonder kind of thing. So I would do, of those places, if I had to pick one of those places, obviously living near Nashville, I would exclude it, but I would probably pick Salt Lake City. And let's see. I don't always like fan edits of TV or film put onto YouTube. Yeah, it's not going to go on YouTube because it'll just get a copyright strike. But it's actually what Mr. Miles has done is really good. I might show like a very brief clip of it just to give you guys an idea. But the overall work is outstanding. And you can't. The nice thing about what he's doing, and this is the hard thing, and Mr. Miles is working on fine tuning his editing skills. Is to make it invisible, to make it so that it doesn't feel like it's been edited, that it just kind of flows naturally, and that's what he's trying to do. I think I can record a game with Command & Conquer 3 like Sims 3, so I'll give it a go. Very cool. I love Command & Conquer. You mean that far right party? Okay, well, far right and far left veering together. I don't know, Peter, because I don't know anything about your political parties. And so Sister of Prey's taken off. Have a good one, Sister of Prey, and definitely take care of yourself. And Miles, in regards to what you said, no, that would be a while. I would wait until you were 100% done and just talk about it and all that. Plus, I want to have it available for people to see the whole thing before we start talking about it too much. Yeah, keep seeing your live being streamed at 3 a.m. here, Ant Trigger. Well, yeah, that's when I do live streams at night on Monday, Thursday, and Friday. And so those are the ones that are popping in at like 3 a.m. Carl Sagan wondered why the people in all command parts in Star Wars were always white, never aliens. We see always only white people. Well, maybe that's just because a lot of the casting and stuff was done in England, and in fact that's why there's so many Brits in Star Wars, and the simple fact is that the majority of the people available were white, and in fact if you think about back in the 70s, that was even more so the case than today. And Dan says, thank you. You're more than welcome, my friend. Luke says, aren't only ships able to put in blueprints? Does the game room make room for space station? Does this game make room for space station blueprints? You can make space station blueprints. However, we have requested that people just do ships to keep it simple. Pasting space stations can be somewhat problematic, and Cinnabon is not to be our architect and trying to carefully place a station at just the right. No, he's just going to, okay, this is each team, Karoga and Turtistan, has a home planet. Earth is the home planet of Karoga. The quote-unquote alien world is the home planet of Turtistan. So he'll paste all the Karogan stuff by Karoga. He'll paste all the Turtistani stuff by Turtistan, and that's it. Blake said was UK sci-fi. Yeah, I've heard of it. I just never watched it. Richie says, what's the official spelling? Well, keep in mind that the leader of Turtistan, namely me, is dyslexic, so we do not believe in official spellings. Does the atmospheric ship count? I don't have spaceflight yet. I might have some stuff to save. Yes, you can, and in fact, Bird made a ship that can't even fly. And so, and basically he can just paste it on the ground and there you go. Man, it's 26 degrees Celsius. Well, I have no idea what that is, Antricker, and my back is to the window, and I've got a fan on, so I take it that's hot. I suck at Celsius. Sorry, I'm starting to grasp kilometers and stuff, thanks to all of my European friends here. But Celsius, no, still hurts. Second Fleet actual is in the game, in the chat. Welcome, Second Fleet. But before he did, he retracted something. Then Resolute said, a declaration of peace with Turtistan is a declaration of war with Karoga. Exactly. And vice versa. I have a game, and of course, Karoga and Turtistan cannot be at peace until one is destroyed, and that one being Karoga. I have the game and played it a bit. I still suck, but I'm willing to turn my personal Discord into a voice-like server for the game if you want. I just need someone to help me do it. Very cool, Second Fleet. And I'll tell you, the best person to help you with Discord stuff, reach out. He's on my Discord. Send him a message. His name is Captain George. He's actually the person who runs my Discord server for me. But if you... and I'm being absolutely serious, because George loves to help other people, as particularly with Discord, because George is really good with it. Send him a message. Let him know you're trying to set this up, and he will help you. And if you want to set up your Discord as a place for for different chat rooms for the different factions and stuff, please do, because that would be awesome. Because I know we have a little Discord voice chat room for space engineers, but I really would like, and if you're willing to take this on, Second Fleet, this would be freaking awesome. What I would really like to do is if we had a centralized Discord where Karoga has a chat room, Turtistan has a chat room, the Vile ones have a chat room, and only members of those factions can get in there and talk to each other. That would be awesome. But I don't know whether I'm mumbling on. Dan says, somebody on YouTube once did an edit of Star Wars movie where they removed all the female characters, and some people found this offensive. Yes. And I don't, here's the thing. I don't think we should just eliminate, like, for example, and if you look at Mr. Miles' edit when we do reveal it, he's not eliminating Captain Marvel from the film. And instead, he's making it more reasonable. And, okay, so let's see. And is that, so that one that you just put, I assume, Mr. Miles, is that one that, now where did it go? I clicked on it, but nothing happened. Oh, let's see, where, oh, here we go. So I see that you... All right. So I see you cut it down to about a 2-minute video. So if that works with no copyright strikes, we can put it up on the channel and see. And so let me know. Give it a little bit of time, Mr. Miles. And if it does work out, we'll put it on my channel for people to see, because I love what you're doing. Anyway, lost my train of thought because, oh yeah, so Dan, what I say is, as far as like removing the anti-feminine cut or whatever it was called for Star Wars, See, I don't. Here's my problem. I don't care about the gender of the roles in Star Wars, The Last Jedi, or The Force Awakens. The fact that Rey is a female, I don't care. The fact that Holdo is a female, I don't care. All that. What I don't like is the fact that they made that into a form of righteousness in that it says being a female somehow makes you a better person. That is sexist, right? And they dumbed down all the men in the franchise. That is sexist. And they basically and of course Rey is a complete and utter Mary Sue, which is, boring. So what we're looking at is how do you take that and make it more entertaining? I don't think just cutting out women is the problem. The Last Jedi has much bigger problems than just trying to eliminate women from the story. The Last Jedi, it has a fundamental flaw with the attitude of the writing and everything behind it. Avengers Endgame does not have that problem. Avengers Endgame is not a 3-hour propaganda piece about femininity. However, there are a couple of scenes that can be tweaked and drastically improved to take away some of the cringe factor of the film. So, yes. And Peter says, I thought I'd mention it so you could advertise your late streams. Thank you, Peter. And Uncle Ramus is here. Says, wow, I rolled out of bed early enough for your live cast. Good morning, Tracker. Good morning, Uncle Ramus. And let's see. BIRDOPREY 5 makes ships that can fly since when? Well, he steals other people's work and then crashes it. That's M-O-O-N. That's how you spell Turkestan. Okay. 26 Celsius is 79 Fahrenheit. Well, that's not that hot. I was going to say, that's not bad. Peter says roughly 80 degrees. Yeah, that doesn't sound bad. Andrew's Discord already has a voice chat channel for space. Yeah, it's just a general space engineer's voice chat, but I think the idea of doing a specialized Discord just so that every faction has their own voice chat would be cool. Because unfortunately, one thing I noticed about the game, while it's a lot of fun, a lot of times we're not talking to each other. And so I think we need to, kick it up a notch. And so... oh wait! In What We Left Behind, the DS9 documentary training, Chris Judge is in it as from the Nerd Escape podcast. Oh, that's cool. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm looking forward to watching it. And let's see. Distance is a lot easier to convert, at least for miles, than temperature. Very true. Temperature is a weird one, and I see you have the mathematics on there, and yeah, it's like, I'm sorry, that hurts my brain, even though I understand the expression there, but it's not like I can do that in my head. Let's see, but what they should have done with Danvers Marvel is to get her to the signal from Rocket Rabbit for the B meter for Tony and Nebula. Oh, yeah, I think that, what I think is missing, and honestly, I don't understand it, but I think what's missing from the film has to do with that post-credit scene from Captain Marvel. If you look, the post-credit scene from Captain Marvel has the surviving Avengers sitting around, and the pager stops working, and they're trying to figure out what's up, and then Captain Marvel shows up, and she's like, where's Nick Fury? And that was the end of the thing. What we needed there was then a scene of them explaining to Captain Marvel that Nick Fury disappeared with half the universe, and they're trying to find survivors from Titan, and because Spider-Man and Iron Man disappeared on a spaceship, and then Rocket says, yeah, my spaceship's out there, but I can't get to it, or something to get her going out there to find them. Because her just randomly showing up like they presented in the movie makes no sense. Like, Captain Marvel just happens to be in the same section of the universe as a spaceship out of gas. I don't buy it. And let's see. Aziz says, thanks for the advice, Andrew. I'll play around and try to figure out the basics soon. Very cool. Yeah, and play some of those single-player missions. But it's confusing as all heck until you... I'll be honest with you. The single-player missions makes sense if you already know the game. If you don't know the game, there you get completely lost in them. It's like, because it just drops you in the scenario and you're supposed to like fix this equipment. I'm like, I don't know what to do. What does pushing this button do? What is this drill for? What is all, you know, I was completely lost. And so you kind of, that's the one weakness of space engineers, is the learning curve. They need a better tutorial. They truly do. Let's see. The only bit I'd add at Trigger, as well as the Hulk out cutscene. The Hulk cutscene I thought was all right. I didn't think it was all that impressive. But I do think they should have had a flashback sequence about how Banner fused himself with the Hulk. Death Dealer's taking off, says, living long and prosper. Thank you, Death Dealer. Take care of yourself. If you haven't already left 3 minutes ago when you posted that. Your old orange friend, your old orange friend is sitting behind your amok time. Oh, yes. So yes, my old orange friend. That orange friend is not going anywhere, because remember, there will be a Discovery Season 3, and I'm sure I'll need it during the Picard series. I'm family visiting, and Mike hasn't logged in this weekend. I'm not sure I will make the deadline. Well, Hector, do what you can, because the deadline is tonight, and we can't put it off because we've got to get the server restarted. However, if you don't make it, since you and Vile have been in the game from the beginning, I'm sure we can arrange something where Cinnabon will be willing to help you guys out, or Wesley, to get you a little bit of a leg up in the new server, because we want the people that have been playing to benefit from what they've done so far. 80 degrees is bad when you have the day star blasting on your back, and checker. It's probably more 100 degrees in the front room. Well, that does suck. Andrew, what do you think Rey goes to the dark side and Kylo gets redeemed? I would think that would be cool, but I don't think they have the balls to do it. Yeah, when did Danvers arrive, Antrigger? The explanation stuff. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Because in the, that cut, the post-credit scene from Captain Marvel doesn't happen. Because from what we get in Endgame, it seems that the first meeting of the Avengers and Captain Marvel is when she brought Tony to them. But that doesn't make any sense. There's no dialogue, nothing establishing why she finds Tony in space. There's nothing establishing why she brings him to Earth. There's nothing establishing anything about her presence. She's just there. Now, I think part of that might be because of the negative fan reaction to her character, and that the Russo brothers were like, you know what, let's just keep Captain Marvel to a minimum. They'll figure it out. But I still think that logically, even though I don't particularly care for Carol Danvers' character, at least make her arc make sense. Because in this, it just feels completely random. Oh, she randomly shows up to save Tony. Oh, gotta go. Oh, she randomly shows up at the big boss battle at the end. Why? And why did she... And in fact, unfortunately, this is, I can't believe they missed this, because this would have been so perfect, is that sequence in the middle of the big fight, when all of a sudden the ship starts stops shooting at everybody and starts aiming their guns at Captain Marvel. I thought that was stupid. First of all, Captain Marvel should not be that OP. The fact that Thanos, she can take on Thanos' entire army by herself, then it deflates any and all tension from the movie. So what you do is, instead of that, you have that exact same thing where the gun turrets all point towards the sky and start shooting, and they're like, what the heck is going on? And you see Captain Marvel fly through the clouds, just like we did, followed by a dozen Ravager ships, with Stallone and all those guys coming in as the cavalry, not just her. And then it would make more sense that they would be distracted because a fleet of ships is coming in to attack. And we never, the Ravagers, we should have had that, because there was no, we didn't have any good cosmic representation, so to speak, in the final battle. The Guardians were there, but that's it. If converting from Celsius to Fahrenheit, double the number, add 30, you'll be close enough. Okay. There's a good step for tutorial missions in the missions list AI. I still don't like it, but maybe it's because probably Ector because I'm dyslexic, so reading a lot. There's no like I like a tutorial where the computer voice tells you what to do, as opposed to popping up walls of text that I struggle to read. Marvel's on Insta does a release names of new shows, but not always clear if it's a cartoon or live action. Yeah, like there's What If I know is animated, but I don't know about the She-Hulk show. I would like the She-Hulk to be live action, but I don't know. BIRDOPREY says assuming it's a positive Celsius number, maybe so. But how about we just let's just convert? Screw it, just convert everything over. Have you seen the theory that Rey is either Palpatine's clone or his daughter? I have heard that, and if they do that, I think it'll be cheap. They're basically just trying to retcon the travesty of The Last Jedi. I'm sorry, that's what you're stuck with. Work with it. Will you be healthy enough to review Star Trek Discovery Season 3? Yes, that's not till next year. I will be fine, I hope. They needed debriefing and trigger and ending Endgame. They did. Look for something that's really silly, like Rey kissing what's-his-face, and that kiss being the reason that he turns to from the dark side. Oh, that would be bad. Star Wars Episode 9 second trailer will be on YouTube on Monday. Well, we'll see if it looks any good, because the first trailer, it just looked like a generic Star Wars trailer to me. It didn't look bad, but it didn't tell you anything about the story other than the fact that they're doing some retro stuff and that the Emperor is apparently still kicking. I liked some of the imagery that they showed in the trailer, but it tells me nothing about the story. Ant-Man should have jumped and punched the ships. He should have. Ant-Man really proved himself in that final battle, and I would have liked to have seen him do more. The Ravagers were in the final fight. They were among those assembled through the portals. I'm not 100% sure on that, Darren, because I think all the flying things we saw were from Wakanda. But I'd have to go back and look at it again. But the thing is, well, I remember we did see Howard the Duck in all there. But I don't know. I just think that having them come in from the sky with their ships, because their ships were too big to, the real Ravager ships. They were big ships. They were like the size of those Leviathans. So they couldn't have come through the portals. So what did they just say? Screw it. We don't need our ships. We'll just walk in. With Hulk on his shoulder and trigger and Rhodey rescue and Tony blasting away, then Danvers shows up. Oh, I see. As far as continuation, Ant-Man jumped up and punched. Yes, that actually could have been cool. The people at D23 must be kind of pissed they don't get the Star Wars trailer at the con. They all paid that money for very little. That does suck. I didn't know that. Andrew, do you like Breaking Bad? New Breaking Bad movie was announced with premiere in Netflix in October. I wonder which characters will be in it. Walter White. Actually, I watched only the first couple episodes of Breaking Bad. It was very well done, but quite frankly, the whole anti-hero thing is not my thing. I don't want to follow and sympathize with a person who's basically just making meth. Sorry. And so it's the same thing. Like I struggled a little bit with Dexter, but at least Dexter was more heroic than what we saw there. And let's see. Oh, and so it looks like Mr. Miles put a short version of the clip so that we can look at what he's been working on. Let me see if I can get it up here. So yeah, this is from the climactic battle of Endgame, and just to give you an idea what Miles has been doing, this is actually really good stuff here. So you guys may recognize part of this scene. Well, you'll probably recognize all of it, but you may not understand the order of it. But take a look at this. So, what did he do there? That replaces all the crap with the headbutt and Captain Marvel overpowering Thanos. Is that he and then Thanos, because in the original sequence of events, Thanos is getting ready to put on the gauntlet. Captain Marvel shows up. They tussle about a bit. Thanos gives her the headbutt, and it hurts him. which was really lame. She actually begins to overpower Thanos, and he removes the Power Stone, takes it off, and punches her and sends her flying. So the way he cut it, it went straight from her showing up and trying to stop him to him punching her, and it didn't look like he were, I think that was such a smooth edit there, because you can't tell that that was actually an alteration. I think that, Mr. Miles really outdid himself on this. So right here, that's perfect. Very well done, Miles. Bravo, my friend. So let's see. Story. There is no story. Yeah, that's true. Why didn't Chewbacca get a medal, but Luke and Han did? Well, actually, Robert, in the novelization of the original Star Wars, Chewbacca did get a medal, but Princess Leia couldn't reach over his head to put it on him, so Chewbacca got his medal in a private ceremony after the public one. That's actually in the book. I'm not referring to the Ravagers' ships. The Ravagers were there armed with guns. I understand there, but they should have had their ships. That makes no sense. That would be like saying, hey, we're going to send in the Navy, but we're just going to send the guys. We're not going to send the ships. I like Ant-Man's Giant Man progression through the films. At first, he was at risk of passing out. He seemed to get over that with practice. Yes, I actually really liked Ant-Man through the MCU as well. I think they did him very well, but I wanted to see more of him in that final battle. Skinny Pete is telling the feds he won't give up Jesse Pinkman in the trailer. Okay. Oh, are you talking about the trailer for the Breaking Bad movie? Okay. I was like, what are you talking about? Well, since I don't know everything about Breaking Bad, I was like, what? Skinny Pete? Jesse Pinkman? What? Well, the YouTube channel Star Wars Explained has seen the second trailer, and they put up a video where they gave a description of it. Okay. Does it sound good? Commander Iron Wolf is in the house, says, hey, how you doing, my friend? Good. I'm hanging in there. Why did she fly up if he hit her from above? Because bad editing. It looks like he headbutts her to orbit. Well, that would make more sense, though, wouldn't it? Mr. Miles says, I'm a wizard. It's true. Very true. And I think Breaking Bad is one of the best TV series past 20 years. I understand what you're saying about the anti-hero, but it's such good acting, story, arcs, and cinematography. Give it another try. Uncle Remus, you know what? I'm not arguing that it's a bad show at all. I mean, from what I saw the first 2 episodes, beautifully done. I absolutely agree with everything you're saying there. But and this is something Mrs. Antrecker knows, I've said this a million times. The movies that I walk out of and say, are movies that don't have a hero. For example, and I know this is absolute blasphemy to many film nerds, but I cannot stand the Godfather films. And why? Because it's about a crime family that I don't want to be rooting. In fact, gangster films as an entire genre, I tend to stay away from. There's only a couple that I find tolerable. And honestly, the only gangster film that I truly enjoyed was The Usual Suspects. And Richie says, you should pay Mr. Miles more money. You are 100% correct. And as this channel grows, I will. And Mr. Miles knows that I want to pay him a ton of money, but right now I just don't have a ton of money to pay him. But that's absolutely part of the plan, Richie, is that Mr. Miles, as his skills grow, will be compensated for it. And he's been such a trooper helping me despite the fact that I pay him peanuts. I agree that Captain Marvel should have come with the Ravagers and maybe what's left of Nova Corps. Yeah, Nova Corps didn't show up at all, and I would have, and especially since at the beginning of Infinity War they said that Thanos decimated Xandar. So if that's the case, then what's left of Nova Corps should be wanting to get their hands on some Thanos. And I think, yeah, imagine the clouds part, Captain Marvel flies through, followed by a half a dozen of those big old Ravager ships, followed by about 50 to 100 of those Nova Corps starfighters. That would have been a badass moment right there, because you're thinking just when the battle could not possibly get any bigger, it just got bigger. And rather than have Captain Marvel one-punch Thanos' flagship, You have her go down into the fight to help with the keep away with the Infinity Gauntlet, while the Ravagers and Nova Corps take out Thanos' flagship in an epic space type battle, a Star Wars type battle. That would have been freaking awesome, but they didn't do that. Walter White does not turn into a hero after he sacrificed himself to save Jesse in the end. Spoiler, I know. Well, do you know what? Redeeming a bad character is not the same as having a hero. Like, for example, Darth Vader is not a hero in the Star Wars trilogy. All right, and just because he's redeemed at the end doesn't make him a heroic character. I haven't seen all of Endgame, just pieces here and there, and I love that Thanos knocked her around like a ragdoll. Well, but you see, that's only in the Miles edit. In the original edit, she actually is stronger than Thanos. So, and Thanos had to cheat to do that. I believe that if you watch the original version of Star Trek Undiscovered Country and the director's cut, certain scenes are quite different. Oh yeah, and in fact, if you really want to see some major differences, look at Star Trek II, the theatrical version versus the director's cut. Like, for example, Saavik is a Romulan. Richie says, Walter White is not a hero. Agreed. You are embarrassing me in front of the wizards, Anti-Trigger. Stark to Banner. If the aliens come down, I'll combat them with sass. Yes, I love Tony Stark in Infinity War. I love, he is from space. He's here to steal a necklace from a wizard. Kid, that's the wizard, The only thing, the gangster films I love, The Departed, Scarface, and Goodfellas. I did not care for Scarface, to be honest with you. Goodfellas, I think that's one that I thought was all right. But yeah. Rich says, great character though. I'm not, yeah, and Walter White, I'm sure is a great character, but I just can't get into that. It's just me. It's a hang up. I know it, but that's who I am. Resolute says, I personally didn't like Breaking Bad, and I've known meth cookers, and Walter White's very poor representation of them. I understand.
I got him! Great hit! Don't get cocky.
And Thomas is here. Good to see you, Thomas. Yes, Thor misused Decimated when he said Thanos decimated Xandar. I would have edited that too. Well, we don't know because we haven't seen Xandar, Darren. And I understand you have a pet peeve with the word decimate, but decimate means to destroy a tenth of, right? So it's, most people think of decimate means that you leave nothing but rubble. But actually decimate means that you destroy about a tenth of the enemy, right? Or the tenth of something. If you say, oh, that decimated my house, then your house is 10% gone. That being said, we haven't seen Xandar since that line. So for all we know, that's an accurate statement. But the problem is we have no idea. Even if Thanos showed up and just destroyed one city, that could be an accurate statement because from a planetary scale, yeah. And we don't know if he executed half of Xandarians or anything. Even though that's his MO, is to kill half, that doesn't necessarily mean he did in that case because he might have been in a hurry because he got the Power Stone and he knew where that Thor had the Space Stone. And let's see. Darren said, Enter, I don't think Heisenberg in Draping Bag was a hero. He's just a protagonist. I agree. Yeah. And so Thomas, there's his super chat of $1.99. Missed you, Thomas. Good to see you, my friend. Wants number 27. You got it, my friend. So number 27, the latest and greatest. Hey, Joshua, I just want to make sure you knew I had a new super chat idea for you. Hey, but.
Oh, no more super chats, you bastard!
Stop hiding people's faces to avoid lip sync. There it is. I do the and by the way, Thomas, the one that Joshua's working on, it's gonna be a mega chat because it's gonna be over 2 minutes long, and an animated thing for 2 minutes is a lot of work for Joshua, but it's gonna be freaking awesome. And I'll just say that it is a sequel to an existing super chat that a lot of you have been waiting for a long, long time. Let's see. T-Berg says, your coffee mug is utterly awesome. Hold on to your Holstein. Edric, have you heard the rumor that Sony and Disney are back at the table trying to work something out? I have. I actually heard people say that they think the whole Spider-Man MCU thing was a publicity stunt. And if that turns out to be true, that the whole thing was a publicity stunt, then I say, F you Disney, F you Sony, because you're screwing with people's feelings in a very serious way, and that is just wrong. I'm sorry. It's immoral. It's wrong. And even though I'll still see Spider-Man movies, but my initial reaction is F you. That pisses me off. Rey in a cloak with a double-bladed lightsaber, I think. Rey in a cloak with a red double-bladed lightsaber. I could see that, but like I said, I don't think they have the balls to make Rey go dark. I really don't. But I think that would be the only way to have an intense, emotional final fight for the Rise of Skywalker is to have Kylo as the hero, because Rey has overpowered Kylo twice. And so if it's Rey versus Kylo and Rey is the hero, she wins a 3 out of 3. But if Kylo is the hero of this whole journey and we didn't realize it, that could actually be genius. But I doubt they're going to do that, because for one thing, the feminists would scream that, oh, you're just doing that because Rey's a woman. And it's like, no, we're doing it because it was the only way to make the story interesting. Peter says, we love Tony 3000. His sass matches O'Neill's from Stargate. Absolutely. Agree. You're a wizard, Auntie. No, I'm a reviewer. Me, you're a wizard, Auntie. Actually, it's Mr. Miles that's the wizard. I am simply the old wise sage. Darth Maul says, hey, Trigger, I watched Endgame last night. While it's not as strong as Infinity War, I watched it yesterday too. It's still a very good film. I really liked Endgame, and honestly, if you just trim out the Captain Marvel cringe moments, I think it is better than Infinity War. But with the Captain Marvel cringe moments, I'd say that Infinity War is slightly better. Some Star Trek and Star Wars movies had better deleted scenes. True. I already communicated the server move to 2 independent factions today. Oh, thank you, Hector. I appreciate that. We got it. Yeah. Anybody who's in the game today, if you see other players playing, please put in the global chat. Don't forget the server's getting wiped tonight. You got to get your stuff together in blueprints and get it to Cinnabon and or Wesley. And let's see. Anyone good at editing videos, Andrew? We should have a compilation of Tony's sass. And thank you, Chris.
I got him! Great hit! Don't get cocky.
I puts a couple of bucks into the super chat. I appreciate it, Chris. I know you've been working hard. In Space Engineers, so thank you for your help there, and you've just been a good friend through this difficult time. And I appreciate what both you, Thomas, Nicole, Captain MKG, all you guys that have been hanging out with me in the game. Thank you for putting up with me, and because I know I don't put out as much stuff as you guys do in the game, but you guys are help support me and help me get through this difficult time. And the game has actually helped me a lot as far as giving me some kind of distraction from the pain. And so anyway, and let's see, we should as far as doing a compilation of Tony's sass, while that would be a really fun video to watch, it would also get shot down via the copyright bots in a heartbeat. So that's the difficulty with that. Most of the people conflate decimate, with devastate, Thor included, apparently. Well, we don't know, Darren. We do not know because we haven't seen Xandar. Orville Nation is in the house. Good to see you. Hector says, more lore and anti-tracker love MEGGACHAT. Nice. Or the Super Turds. I will not tell you which one it is. Thomas, did you see Star Wars Episode 9 poster I sent you? I did. And I know some people have been hating on the poster. I honestly don't hate it, but it kind of unfortunately confirms what most of us feel about it already. And here's the poster. This is the official poster for The Rise of Skywalker. And looking at it, okay, so we see Palpatine in the background, Rey and Kylo with lightning shooting around. It's not a bad looking poster overall, but it would be better if you felt like Rey had a chance of losing. But I don't. Commander Shutters now says, good morning, fellow nerds. Listening to your stream and professionally produced videos brings me both joy and happiness. It is an escape from all the garbage and decisiveness out there. Hashtag me poo. Thank you, Shutter. It's hard to redeem Kylo after he killed Han Solo. I know, I didn't say it would be easy, but I think it can be done. And so Rey never overpowered Kylo a second time. She just escaped the second time after the explosion from a hyperspace collision, but she didn't beat him. Well, I know they didn't fight directly in the second time, but I'm sorry, he should have easily been able to stop her from escaping because he had home field advantage and, had an entire crew of willing subjects. But remember, after their confrontation, she got away and he was unconscious, and they did have a brief force struggle, so she won twice. So there's Chris's $2 super chat. And of course, Chris, if you want a super chat reward, be sure to let me know. Yeah, Kylo has to rescue Rey, similar to what Anakin did with Luke. No, oh, yeah, I get it. Star Wars just sucks. I'm sorry. If it's bleeped, not salvageable, and they'll never make ugly Keanu the sleeper hero of the films. I know they won't, but they should. Although ugly Keanu, I think that's a bit harsh. The Emperor looks like the animated version from Rebels. It does, actually. It's kind of funny. When I saw the Emperor there, I'm like, wow, who did that? Mr. Miles says, I hate Discovery 3000. Oh, now there we go. That's a meme. Infinity War and Endgame back-to-back are 10 out of 10. I would say 9.9 out of 10 because the cringe moments in Endgame are a detractor. I wish I could give it a 10 out of 10, but I can't. Infinity War on its own, I would give a 10 out of 10. Endgame on its own, I would give a 9.9. And so together, they would get a 9.99, I guess. Kylo also slaughtered an entire village of innocent people, including that old man that always gets killed by a sword in all movies and shows he appears in. That's true, but, Anakin slaughtered an entire community of Sand people, and then an entire group of younglings, I hate that term, and was the right-hand man to the most brutal dictator in history, except for BIRDOPREY. Darren says, Thanos isn't going to leave 90% of the population of Xandar unmolested. Well, unmolested, sure, but doesn't mean he killed him. Dan23 says, Michael Dorn says his Worf show would fit so well in the new Star Trek universe. He's been talking about doing that show for years. Yeah, but it'll probably never happen because, they'd make him be a Klingork. Rey doesn't have the higher ground in that poster, and we all know from Revenge of the Sith that having the higher ground is a big thing. Yeah, it's true. That's true. Kylo has the higher ground, so that means that he'll win. Chris says, your pick on Super Chat. All right, well, then I'm going to pick this one.
The toast and eggs are really good, but there seems to be something missing. Yeah,
That's what you're having for breakfast? That simply won't do. Follow me instead.
what kind of place are you taking us to?
A place that will introduce you to Frosted Fruity Hulls.
Not only does it have 4 unique fruity flavors, but it also has a glazed frost that makes it extra yummy.
How do they get so deliciously frosty?
The frosting is Frosted Fruity Hulls, of course, comes from this hull. Part of a complete nutritious breakfast.
I love Frosted Fruity Holes. What can I say? And let's see. Darren says the feministes wouldn't have a problem with Rey becoming the new Empress. I disagree. I think they would because I would think, oh, of course you're making her an evil person. I think that the only way that the SJW crowd will be happy is if it does end, like Thomas is saying, Rey turning Emperor to the light side, that she becomes the god of the Star Wars universe or something. And yeah. She will have a Skywalker baby from Kylo before they both die to defeat the Emperor's spirit, and Finn will raise the baby. Mr. Miles says, will the Miles edit of Endgame boost it to a 10, assuming I can pull off my plan? Yes. If you can... now, you showed that like, the fight scene there between Thanos and Captain Marvel, you definitely fixed that part. You took the cringe out of that, and I really like that. The trickier part is going to be the all-female scene. I have a thought of how I would do it, but I decided I was going to talk to you about it, but I don't want to. I don't want to reveal my thoughts until I see what you do, because you got your own creative juices flowing on it. Well, they said the new Star Wars films in the 20s will venture where we've never been. Well, if they do, Old Republic, they'll be going where video game has already been. They're not going to do Old Republic, Dan. I know a lot of people want Old Republic. A lot of fans will say, oh, they're going to do Old Republic. No, they're not. They're not. They're just not. Get it out of your head. And so I think what they just mean is, oh, look, now we're doing an Obi-Wan movie. The Section 31 show with the Mirror, Georgiou, may or may not happen. Yeah, I know that it's all up in the air, but I know that some people, there have been rumors going around that instead of the Section 31 show, they were going to make a Pike show. I think that would be a better move. Saw the Endgame Hulk deleted scene. All the deleted scenes should have been deleted, in my view, including that one. Yeah, the Hulk scene was probably the best of them, but it still didn't add anything to the film, so I'm okay with it not being in the film. Thomas says, now I have to go get breakfast. All right, have a good breakfast, Thomas. I'm going to be wrapping up here as well. Screw the SJWs. Make good movies first. Well, first of all, Uncle Ramus, looking at them, I don't know that you'd want to screw the SJWs. But I agree with the sentiment. Yes, make good movies first and let the pieces fall where they may. Mr. Miles says, I have a plan for the all-female scene, so therefore I look forward to seeing what you do with it. Like I said, I'll let you know if you did what I was thinking of. And I honestly did, and in fact, you know what we'll do, Mr. Miles, is after you get that, I'll take that short version of the Thanos versus Larson that you did, and if you can do a short version of the fixing the female scene, we'll put that together into a video about fixing Endgame. Darren says, Andrew, I honestly didn't have as big a problem with the all-girl plus Spider-Man tracking shot in Endgame. It makes sense that while the men were all fighting, the women should be posing. Oh, jeez. That's bad. Valkyrie and Rescue helping Danvers and Trigger and only then. Yeah, but, you know, and only then. Well, I'll say, I think that whole scene was the most cringeworthy moment that I've seen in recent cinema, especially for a good movie. That's what pisses me off. You know, like if I see Ghostbusters 2016 and they do something like that, I'm like, yeah, whatever. If I see Men in Black International and they do that, I'm like, yeah, whatever. They do that in the middle of Avengers Endgame, and I'm like, what the? Ah! Peter says, take it easy then, Anter. I'll be around for another live stream at BIRDOPREY. Yes, BIRDOPREY will probably be streaming later. Don't forget, if you do play Space Engineers, to get your stuff packed today. Save a blueprint, because if you don't save the blueprint, it's not on us. You have to save the blueprint. Then you got to get it to Wesley Crusher or Cinnabon so that they can then bring it into the new universe once it is created tonight or tomorrow. And Resolute, I'm not going to even read that comment. That was horrible. But thank you all for being the best damn crowd on YouTube. I truly appreciate each and every one of you. I'm going to wrap things up, but I just truly, truly thank you for being awesome. And Mr. Miles says, I found out a 1080p copy isn't good enough to do what I want to do with some of the edits. That's why I ordered the 4K version yesterday. I'm sorry, Mr. Miles, that you had to do that. But yeah, nowadays I only buy movies on 4K. For that, you know, it makes editing a lot easier. The higher resolution you start with, the more wiggle room you have for cheating shots and stuff like that, which I'm sure is what you're planning on doing. All right, guys, take care of yourselves, and don't forget to always tip your waiter. So that just sounds horrible. But before I go, Darren says, "Hey, Trey, you know what you want to know what I thought were the most cringy moments in Endgame? The validation of Captain Marvel given by Tony, Thor, and others." Yeah, I didn't like that either. In fact, I'll say this. The worst single shot in Endgame was Rocket. when the guns turn and start shooting at Captain Marvel, and she comes and destroys the Thanos' ship, and then they do this close-up shot of Rocket watching Captain Marvel with this big old grin on his face, going, "Oh yeah!" And I was like, "That's not Rocket." You know, Rocket would be like, "Oh, not bad, but can she do the dishes?" You know, that would be Rocket. But him, no, that was just horrible. Sadly, where I live, all women, regardless of attractiveness, is at least a little bit SJW or a very conservative Christian. Well, that's a difficult time. I can see that. All right, be ready for an upload from me, Anti-Trekker. Awesome, Peter. I can't wait. All right, take care. And good, Mr. Miles already cut out that rocket scene. Thank you, Miles, because I hate that shot. Oh, I hate that shot. Like I said, you know, like, think about this. And I know I got to go, but think about this. Earlier in the same damn film, when you have Captain Marvel and everybody talking on the Skype, and Captain Marvel is like, you know, "Oh, well, you know, I have things to do. I may be gone for a while." And Rocket's like, "What, you going to go get another haircut?" That's Rocket. You know, Rocket always makes a wisecrack about everything. He's not going to show blatant admiration for something like that. You know, he might in the end say, yeah, that wasn't bad. But he's not going to sit there and go, "Oh, yeah," like the Kool-Aid Man or something. Dan says there's a deleted scene in Star Trek Nemesis where you get to the Enterprise E mess hall. I don't remember that, but that's cool. That's rabbits, all right. Yep. All right, guys, I do need to go. Take care. Have a good one. And don't forget to wipe.